So doing a little series on puppies. So I'm going to go through right from choosing the right breed for you, to choosing a breeder, to choosing their actual puppy, right through to bringing them home and all the training that you want to do within the first few weeks to sort of months and a year. So obviously choosing a puppy is a big commitment, because obviously they could live sort of 15 plus years. So obviously you've got to be able to commit to all their needs for at least 15 years. Obviously some dogs do have a shorter life expectancy. Some might live past 15 up to sort of maybe 18, 19, 20. Especially smaller dogs, they generally do live a little bit longer. So when you're choosing a puppy, or the breed that you're going to get, you've got to think about obviously life expectancy. So do you want it to be a shorter sort of commitment, so maybe 10 years, or you don't mind whether it's 15, 20 years? So if you would prefer it to be a shorter commitment, go for your larger breeds, so Great Danes, Newfoundlands, St Bernards, them sort of breeds, because larger breeds generally do have a shorter life expectancy, just because they are a little bit longer, their body just goes through it, everything at a bit quicker pace. But obviously then the smaller breeds, they generally do live that little bit longer. You often hear like terriers and that live into their 20s. But obviously there's nothing saying that a Great Dane wouldn't live to 15 plus. So obviously each dog is going to be slightly different. So you also want to think about how much grooming they need. Obviously each dog is going to have slightly different grooming needs, even within the same breed. But generally, say Yorkshire Terriers, they're going to need regular brushing and grooming. And Jack Russells, they don't always need that much, just a quick brush and they're generally alright. But then some of the Jack Russells, they do need a bit of a tidy up from time to time. Then obviously with larger dogs, your Great Danes, obviously they've got really short fur, so again, quick brush once a week and they're fine. But then on the other hand, the St Bernard, they're really fluffy and they do need pretty much daily brushing. And ideally trips to the groomers so they can get the undercoat out properly for them to make them feel really comfortable and not overheat or anything too much, and they don't get too much matting in there, which can make them feel really uncomfortable and be painful for them. So that goes for all breeds. If you've got a longer haired dog, obviously you want or like a doodle kind of breed, so a poodle cross, you want to make sure they're being groomed regularly at the groomers, so they don't get any matting and that doesn't then become painful and distressing for them. So you also want to think about size. So obviously if you have quite a small space that you live in, then obviously a Great Dane may not be the best option for you at the moment. A smaller breed might be a better option. And also think about activity level as well. So obviously if you lead a really active lifestyle, where you're going to go on sort of really long walks with them and all that sort of thing, you want a dog that's going to be able to match that. You don't want a dog that's going to be a couch potato when you want to go out on long walks. But equally, if you only want to do sort of 15-20 minute walk each day, you don't want to get a really active dog that would want to and need to go on nice long walks. So the dogs I have out here today, I'll show you in a second, they're all very different for different reasons. Some need more grooming than others, some need more exercise than others, and some just need more training than others as well. So obviously some breeds do just need that little bit of extra training than others, and some you can get away with doing sort of a little bit of training and they're fine. But also again, that does depend on each individual dog within each breed. You might get one Labrador that you need to do loads of training with and it's really hard work, but you might get another that is really easy. So obviously overall each breed has like their general traits. So Labradors are generally food motivated, which does make them relatively easy to train. But then quite a lot of the terriers, so I've got Jack Russells, they're they are food motivated and toy motivated, but they still have that independent side of themselves. So if you go to train them and they don't want to be trained that day, they're not going to get that far. So training might take a little bit longer. So as you can see, all these dogs are slightly different. So you've got, say, Reggie Lurcher and Denny the Staffy Cross Shar-Pei, really short hair and really easy to maintain their coats. But they're very different in exercise needs. Reggie, he's happy enough with sort of a 20-minute, half-hour walk a day, whereas Denny does need a bit more because she is a higher energy breed. Reggie does like a good run, as you can see, but he wouldn't be too put out if he didn't get this each day. Whereas Denny, if she misses a couple of days, it is quite a big deal for her. She gets a lot of pent-up energy. Then obviously you've got to think about like Buzz, my collie. He is probably the most active out of all these. He can do 10 miles a day without batting an eye and still have energy at the end of the day. Whereas little Bumble there, little Bichon Cross, if you did 10 miles of him, he'd be conked out for about a month after. He's happy enough with a sort of 20-minute walk a day or half-hour walk and then sort of relax. But equally, he is happy with a slightly longer walk as well, some days. So he's a nice little mix, but also you've got to think about he then needs quite a lot of grooming. So sort of compromises there, whereas Buzz needs pretty much no grooming. He needs a lot of exercise. Bumble, less exercise but more grooming. Similar with Connie, she's fairly active. She's a little bit older now, so she's a little quieter, but she needs a fair amount of grooming. Everything gets stuck in her coat. So they're the main things to look at when you're choosing a breed. So how much exercise they need, the size, and how much grooming they'll need, and if all them sort of things fit in with what you are able to commit to. So good. Once you sort of narrow down your breeds, a good place to look is then their kennel club. So you're able to find out more about each breed's personality and their traits, and if that is something that fits in with what you are wanting.